New director Andrew Peterson's first movie is an alien abduction story with a twist, making you wonder what's real and what isn't. So put on your tinfoil hats and get ready for a small town's experience with extraterrestrial kidnappers. The movie presents the story as an episode of Paradox Theater, a fictional Twilight Zone-like television show set sometime in the late 50s after the launch of Sputnik, the world's first man-made satellite. The introduction is in black and white and distorted to mimic television images of that era. As the story progresses, it slowly transitions to a clear color image, but occasionally transitions back to black and white to remind the viewer that they're watching a TV episode. In the story, Faye Crocker and Everett Sloan are two teenagers living in the tiny town of Cayuga, New Mexico. Faye is a high schooler with a part-time job as a telephone switchboard operator. Everett has apparently graduated and is a DJ at the town's local radio station. The beginning of the movie is slow-paced, with Everett teaching Faye proper radio interviewing techniques on a tape recorder she recently purchased through a mail-order service. Faye is clearly interested in science. She excitedly tells Everett about a magazine article she read describing a future with self-driving cars and portable telephones with TV screens, which Everett scoffs at.
Okay, well, in the future, every baby will be assigned a telephone number at birth, and it'll be his for life. And we'll all have palm-sized dials, like a clamshell with no receiver. Or, well, I guess we'll have little speakers and microphones instead. And on one side, you'll have the dial. And on the back will be a Lilliput screen, so like a miniature television screen. You can keep it in your pocket, so you can call your friend in Rome or New York or anywhere and see his face on your dial and have a conversation with him in color. The screens will be in color.
Which magazine is that?
Modern Mechanics. This article's a couple years old. But, it also said that if you call your friend and he doesn't answer, then you know they're dead.
What? Why would you know they're dead?
Because they always have it with them so they can always answer.
What? I don't believe that.
What?
The town's only high school is about to host a basketball game with their main rival, but there has also been a blackout recently that school administrators believe was caused by a squirrel chewing through an electrical line, but was really caused by an alien spacecraft.
I told them to turn the power off during the tornado, but they don't listen to me. Last time this happened, it was a squirrel that had bitten through the wire. Squirrel still had the wire in his mouth.
Yeah.
Both teenagers settle into their jobs for the evening when strange things begin to happen. Everett's broadcast is interrupted by a weird electrical sound on the air. Moments afterward, Faye receives a call with the same strange sound.
Number, please.
Officer Sherman declared the incident was caused by, and I quote,
Number, please.
driving coupled with slick road surfaces.
Hello?
Also, calls coming into Faye's switchboard disconnect for no apparent reason. Faye finally contacts Everett to ask him about the sound, but he doesn't recognize it. Everett then decides to play it on the air to see if any listeners can identify it.
Hey, listen up, because we got a quick query for anyone that wants to take a crack. We've got a sound we'd like to play that seems to be sort of bouncing around the valley tonight. We'd like to know your thoughts. We're standing by the phones, and we'd love to know if there's an old expert or ute ham operator we don't know about that's tangling up our antenna. And for the caller who can help us out and can tell us what the sound is, we've got a free piece of Elvis's carpet pulled directly from his floor in Memphis. Lines are open. Please call with any information.
This leads them on an impromptu investigation that involves a lengthy on-air interview with a retired black military vet named Billy, who says he heard the sound on the radio of an Air Force plane after he helped build a secret underground storage room for an alien spacecraft.
Well, we built the ceiling over this thing carefully, and then when they were done with us, after got us all boarded on the plane, when the propellers had started spinning and we were about to take off, and the radio started playing this sound.
What sound?
The same sound you just played tonight.
You sure it was the same?
Oh, I couldn't forget it.
Later, the pair interviews Mabel Blanche, an old woman who says early in Cayuga's history, a young woman stumbled into town after spending several days in the wilderness speaking a foreign language no one could understand. Also, Mabel said her baby often spoke the same language in his sleep, starting at the age of 10 months. At the age of 9, he vanished in front of her house without a trace. Mabel is convinced he was taken by aliens who control people's minds.
And then when he was 9, I got the feeling that something was out there again. And that night, in the middle of the night, he walked out the front door of this house and vanished.
How?
He was taken up from this earth. There were no other houses. It was very dry. I followed his footprints out the front door, out to about 150 feet, and they stopped there in the dirt. And he wasn't there. They took my son, and no one has ever believed me.
Their search finally leads them to the forest outside of town, where they notice the tree canopy has a gaping hole as if something has flown through it. Finally, they look up to see a gargantuan alien spacecraft. The wind swirls around them as the camera pans upward toward the ship, implying they have both been abducted. I see this movie as a statement of class divisions, because the three people who had the most information on the UFOs, a teenage girl, an old woman, and an old black man, were people who were often ignored in the 1950s. The only aspect of the movie I didn't like was its framing as a TV episode on the fictional Paradox Theater. This device contributed nothing to the plot, and I found the transitions from color to black and white annoying. Aside from the story itself, the film is quickly becoming famous for a continuous outdoor scene that takes the viewer throughout the entire length of the small town, which was shot in Whitney, Texas, in one seamless cut. Also, the plot is character-driven, and although the special effects are minimal because of its small budget, they're used in just the right places. I'm going to give this movie 4.5 stars. If you like this video, then please click like, share, and subscribe. Thanks very much.